Good afternoon. I've been reading a book recently about Neil Armstrong, the first man to set foot on the surface of the moon. That's an incredible feat. Only a dozen or so people have ever done it in the history of the world. And so the fact that he was the first certainly sets him up as somebody who was to be revered, as somebody who could go around town, and if people knew who he was, he would get whatever he wanted. He'd never have to pay for another drink in a bar. He'd never have to probably buy another meal in a restaurant. He would be asked to do speaking engagements. People would pay him lots of money. Autographs would be worth a lot of money from him because that's how special he was. But the thing about Neil Armstrong is he never paraded it around. He never made a big deal about it, even though it was a big deal. He stayed humble. And when he did things, he didn't always want the recognition. He didn't always want people to know who had been behind that gift or that generous offering or the thing that made the building come together and be a new project. He didn't want the recognition. It was like he wanted to maintain the secrecy, even though he could have been a really big deal. In a kind of a same way, God says that when you and I get to be generous and when we do acts of mercy towards other people, we should try to stay humble in those moments. Being merciful is a good thing, and it would be something we could brag about, certainly. Other people aren't always doing it, and when we do, we want to get the recognition. But this is what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 6, verse 3. Instead, when you perform acts of mercy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. The idea being that you don't go around bragging about the acts of mercy that you do. You don't make it a big deal. You simply do them and let that speak for itself. Let the act of mercy speak for itself, because that's what God did for you. God let His act of mercy for you speak for itself. What His act of mercy towards you was a loving action, a step in your direction before you could ever do anything on your own. Jesus was the one sent to show mercy to you, to bring forgiveness into your life. And God let that act speak for itself. And that's what makes it so believable. And that's what leads you to trust in God, because His act of mercy says everything you need to know about who God is. Until we see each other again, the Lord's blessings on your day.